You're listening to Create Wealth Through Franchising, and I'm your host, Kim Daly. In my 20 years as a franchise consultant, I've helped hundreds of people achieve their dreams of building and scaling franchise businesses to create wealth. The interview you're about to hear can also be found on my YouTube channel, where I post new franchising content multiple times per week. Please take a moment to subscribe to the podcast and to my YouTube channel at kimdaly.tv. Now, enjoy the show. Welcome back to the Daily Coach YouTube channel. Today, my special guest is Michael Wagner. He is the president of Pool Scouts, a great franchise that I have helped people get into. Michael, welcome to the conversation today on Kim Daly TV.
Thank you, Kim. Very excited to be here.
I am happy to have you here today. And so, Michael, we're going to have this conversation today about how, because the labor market is so hard, nobody should start a franchise. People should not be following their dreams because it's just too hard to find good employees.
Not true at all.
Okay, guys, this is a really important conversation that I've invited the president of a service organization to join me in because I'm hearing it from so many candidates. Michael and I recently lost a candidate because of the fear of not being able to find good employees. And that's why I invited him into Kim Daly TV to have this conversation with me. So, is it hard to find good people right now? The moment that we're in right now in 2021? Yeah, I think every service organization, restaurant out there is struggling to find good people. But is it impossible?
No, not at all. It's definitely not impossible. Business must go on, and people want to work. The right people want to work, definitely, and they want to be part of something special. Just like people considering a change to move into something different, whether it's another job or franchising or whatever it might be, they're looking for a change. And a lot of people out there are looking for that same change, and they want to follow people that are passionate and excited about what they're doing.
So you can go out there as an entrepreneur and you can figure out your business problems all on your own, right? Certainly, if you've been on Kim Daly TV before, you've heard me talk about some of the differences between entrepreneurship and franchising. Or you can say yes to a franchise and enter into this business collaboratively, where you get to work for yourself but not by yourself, where you're partnered with people who are there to support you through the challenging times. So, Michael, tell us a little bit about what your franchisees are doing, what your leadership team is doing to help your franchisees find good people or create good people.
Well, both things happen. We're in a space in the swimming pool cleaning and maintenance business, which is traditionally not the most professional place in the world. And really our brand promise is making it that much more professional, and we start with the people, just like any business. So the tools that we provide our franchisees to help recruit employees, we use a couple things. First, we have a corporate arrangement with Indeed that really is a landing page, standardized job descriptions across the country in the different franchise locations that we have. We have another tool we offer called Career Plug, which affords the franchisees the ability to track all the resumes coming in, automatically do background checks, and really take a systematic approach towards recruiting constantly. I think that's one of the key messages, Kim, in most businesses today is that folks have to be recruiting all the time. They've got to be looking for good people, knowing that transitions are going to happen and attrition within workforces is going to happen. So keeping an eye open is key. We have some incredible franchisees that are super creative, and just like any business, the ones who are not afraid and who put themselves out there are the most successful at recruiting, finding, and retaining great people in their organizations, and they do some incredible things. Many of our franchisees have gotten technicians, which are what we do to go out and clean and maintain pools, from customers and communicating directly with their customer base that they're looking for people. And so that's been one source that they've been able to get. Referrals within their company are certainly a great way to build a culture as well with people that know each other. Those ultimate connections at the local level are super powerful. And then there's old school stuff. One of our franchisees in Raleigh has put up yard signs. That's what we call them, but they're literally signs all around where her office is that state she's hiring. So old school type things combined with the digital side of things and the community oriented stuff really is the key to do it. And ultimately the owner can be on the look for good people anywhere. One of our franchisees in Houston, Brent Barrage, had a great experience at the cell phone store where he was getting new phones for his business and had a great interaction with with the salesperson. Ended up hiring the person at his business, stealing him away from that business. The guy was interested once he heard a little bit more. But I think the key is obviously keeping your ears open and eyes open for great talent and people wherever you are.
Yeah, Michael, you bring up a good point. So there were so many things I could have said along the way. Let's see if I can remember them all. But you brought up a good point when you're like, it's like recruiting good employees is sort of a mindset. So as the daily coach, in other videos, you've heard me talk about like every business has a thing, right? Like in my business, the thing is prospecting, right? I'm only going to be as good as the candidates that I have to work with. In this business, it could be that you're only going to be as good as the employees that you find. So that's the thing. And so to the extent that a business owner makes the thing their thing and sort of champions the cause will be the extent to which that thing is no longer a thing. Right? So candidates want to say, oh, it's so hard to find employees. And I see them like walking away from their dreams to own a business because of that. And I'm like, really? And maybe those people should walk away anyway. I don't mean that judgmentally or meanly, but maybe because if you don't see the opportunity and you only you kind of trip over the obstacle, maybe then you just don't have like the heart to like get in there and be a competitor as a business owner. Is that like what that's saying, Michael? I don't know.
I 100% agree with you. The folks that tend to, as business owners, and in our business, we're very much of a community-oriented businesses. We're in people's backyards every single day cleaning their pools, and franchisees have, 900 plus customers in some cases. That's a lot of relationships to manage and a lot of technicians ultimately. So we're in the people business, and the people that are not afraid to put themselves out there, either in the community to help attract customers and build their overall brand awareness and their business ownership awareness in their communities, or by creating this culture by which they're proud to have employees and folks as part of their team that want to follow them. I mean, it really comes down to their workplace culture that they create. And the ones that are assertive and that are willing to take the chance to get into business in the first place tend to be really good at that, and then are much more successful in operating their business as well. Because everything we deliver in our business is through people.
Hey, Daily Coach fans, if this franchise sounds like a fit for you, I would love to be your daily coach. Email me right now for a totally free consultation at inquire@kimdaly.tv. All right, so what we're basically saying is that we need great leaders. So do leaders just show up and raise their hand to become Pool Scout franchise owners? Or do you at the franchisor level take it upon yourself to help the franchisee develop into a good leader?
I think that there is definitely a ton of support that we offer, and our support is very phased depending on where they are in their business. When they're first starting out their Pool Scouts franchise, often they might be sitting in a Starbucks because they're operating the business from their home, and they've driven their vehicle out there and they're meeting with their first potential or second potential technician. And so really that buy-in from that first technician or employee as it might be is to that person, is to that connection. Because the conversation might be, I just started this franchise and I'm going to build it up and I'm going to have a lot of customers, and the candidate might say, well, how many customers do you have? And well, the answer might be 0, it might be 10, it might be 100, whatever it might be. But really then the confidence for the employment and the relationship comes because of the franchisee and how they present themselves and how confident they are. So I think franchisees come to the table with varied skill sets, and our job as a franchisor is to recognize those skill sets, train to the weaknesses so that they become competencies that they've got, and then continually coach as their business evolves, because the phases are so different in the beginning than they are when you've got 11 vehicles out doing 300 services a week and multiple technicians. That's a different conversation about strategy and driving more margin and efficiency and marketing spend and ROI and all those things than it is I've got to get out there right now and capture this first customer, capture this 10th customer, service them. So we really have to take not a one size fits all approach, but understand the strengths and weaknesses of the candidates, of the franchisees themselves. And we've got folks that are fabulous in some areas and are challenged in other areas. And the other thing we try and encourage them to do, like any business, is if you're really not good at something and you're hiring somebody, try and find somebody that complements your weaknesses ultimately.
Hey, Daily Coach fans, if you're inspired by this conversation, I invite you to email me right now to explore this franchise opportunity. My email is inquire@kimdaly.tv. So, guys and gals listening to this, I mean, are you hearing like the level of support, the multi levels of support? Because a baby franchisee needs one level of support. A more advanced franchisee with history and clients and multiple truck operation needs a different level of support. It all kind of trickles back to this idea: when you're ready to say yes to your dream to own a business, there's always going to be a thing. Right now in 2021, for a lot of business, the thing is finding help, right? I have another video that I made about how about instead of trying to quote, find good help, we learn how to create, right? Be the leader that can attract the personality that you can coach and then create that good employee. And, I challenged people in that video, like, how many of you people listening to this video were a great employee for your first job? Right? Like, how many people had to breathe life into us to get us where we are? And so, as you take on the role of becoming a business owner, you're stepping into that role potentially of being that boss who gets the opportunity to help a younger generation become good employees. So, there's that part to this conversation. And then there's the part that, there's never going to be a perfect time to say yes to your business. There's always going to be a thing. And if you're going to make it about the thing, you're never going to be able to realize the dream. You're never going to be able to enter the arena. You're never going to be able to say, I took a chance and I tried to build a business. And what if it works, right? What if you become the boss that people just love to work for and you have the problem of having too many employees? Like, it could happen, right? So it's all about the ownership role and taking it, not looking to the franchisor. But in this conversation, you've heard the franchisor mention all the different like support tactics and strategies and how they're there to help you, meet you, right? It's individualized. It's not a one size fits all approach. So this idea that when you come to own a franchise business, you are in business for yourself, but you're not by yourself. You don't have to struggle on your own. You don't have to be the one solving all of the problems, figuring it all out for yourself. Yeah, I love it. I love it, Michael. So, in wrapping this up, are there any or do you have any like quick little stories about somebody who was struggling to find good employees who, found them, or someone who's really been able to just grow their business despite the struggle of finding good employees that you want to share with the listeners today?
Yeah, one of my favorite stories, and it always comes down to individual, stories and people within franchising. But one of our franchisees is in Hilton Head, Savannah / Charleston. Those are the two markets that he has open. His name is Ray Marinaccio. Ray was a former prosecutor in New York City, lived in Westchester, New York, and moved down to Hilton Head because his daughter and son went to Clemson. And he had never run a business before. Very smart gentleman, obviously, and tons of charisma on
Tough
top of that.
personality. Like, is he intimidating?
You know what? Surprisingly, not at all. He has just
Yeah.
He's got a gift with people, and the first technician that he hired is a guy named Frank Duda, who he's really built his business around. And so he was able to, sell the vision and instill the trust in Frank to want to come work with him, and they've built up a great business together. But honestly, Ray had never run a business before. He had never really sold anything before. He's had never run a P&L before, and done those kinds of things, but very strong people skills, and really has been able to learn so much else and really be a model for our franchise system as well. So it's just one of those areas where you assess where people's skills are, and if they have the people skills, you can teach a lot of the other stuff to figure out how people can manage and run a business. Some people don't like bookkeeping, and there are lots of alternatives to franchisees doing their own bookkeeping, and some people get scared away from marketing or from sales or whatever it might be. But I think the most successful folks have an open mind to learning, and they realize that in the case of franchising, more often than not, there's a script, there's a guide, there's a checklist, there's a standard operating procedure, which is what you buy into when you get into a franchise system, that if you can follow that, and of course make it your own by being your own person, then you can be successful. And I think we've had a lot of examples of people being able to do that.
That's awesome.
Fear is always what holds people back. The self-doubt can always creep in any stage of your life, in any decision-making process that you've got. But I think it's an exciting thing to be a part of. And then you just look at the external environment for businesses, and ours in particular. Pool construction growth is at 24% in 2020, and at least that this year. So tons of tailwinds behind what we do that make it a good space to be in.
Puppies and pools, two big businesses that boomed in 2020.
It's true. It's true.
Well, I really appreciate all that you just said. Listeners out there, the candidate that he just, mentioned, someone who came to the idea of owning his own business, who had never sold anything, who had never run a P&L, like that is the typical candidate that we work with every single day. That is you, the person listening to this video who's doubting, do I have what it takes? You do have what it takes if you have the dream to own a business. There's never going to be a perfect labor market. There's never going to be a perfect time. There's never going to be the perfect business because nothing is perfect. When you're ready to say yes, you're going to step up to the plate and you're going to build that business to the perfection that you can. And hopefully you will be able to live the life of your dreams through that business. That is why Michael's, inspired to do what he does, and I'm inspired to do what I do. It's why Kim Daly TV exists. If you've enjoyed this video today and this conversation with Michael Wagner, if you'd like to learn more about Pool Scouts and or learn more about how you could step up and become a franchise owner, I encourage you to leave a comment below and or reach directly out to the Daily Coach. Michael, thank you for being our guest today.
Thank you very much, Kim.
Thank you. Until next time, everybody, I am Kim Daly, and I want to be your daily coach. If you found this inspiring, please contact me at inquire@kimdaly.tv. My consulting services are totally free to you. Again, that email is inquire@kimdaly.tv. I can't wait to hear from you.